Hey guys, we're back for another manga collection video. First off, we have Zom 101 and 2. Haven't read this yet from the new Viz signatures coming out, but I've heard really good things about it. Next up, we have 1 through 10 of No Gun's Life. Super good series, really good sci-fi. If you like Akira and a few other things like that, you'll really like it. Hell's Paradise 1 through 9. 9 just came out, I think, this month. So it's a beautiful cover there. Super good one if you like really Seinen themes, but really shonen action with a pretty gritty story. You'd probably enjoy it. It's a 13 overall series, so it's not too long, and it's got an anime adaptation coming out soon, which is really nice. Master Keaton, which is like Monster if you like that, from Urasawa, but it's a lot more episodic, so it's a lot more easier to digest in one sitting. You can kind of do volume by volume. Then you have Blue Flag 1 through 3. I have 4 on order, which is why I haven't gone further. I haven't wanted to read this yet because people say it tears you apart. So I want to get at least to 4 and then I'll binge it and see if I want to finish it or not. But I've heard really good things about that. Levius is also really good. If you like Megalobox and other boxing kind of things and really sci-fi themes, that's a really good one-off to read. And it also does continue to a new series called Levius Est, which is also on the Viz signature line. Moving down, then we have the Dr. Stone. I believe this is up to current with the spin-off that Boichi wrote as kind of like a prequel. So, and I have the 2 little figures I have there. If you don't know about Dr. Stone now, go read it. That's all I'm going to say. Like, it's just that good. I'm not going to spoil it about anything. Just go read it or watch it. The anime adaptation is incredible. Then we have Moriarty 1 through 4. I believe this is also up to current right now with the Shonen Jump lineup. It's basically a Sherlock Holmes kind of themed mystery, so it's pretty good so far. Undead Unluck is also a hilarious take on shonen powers. If you really like, I'd even say My Hero Academia, that kind of quirk side, if you've ever had a problem with why they're really not explained, this one does a really good job of showing power draw and what it takes to actually use that power. So it's really interesting. I'm reading Spy X Family right now, 5. So, and I have 1, 2, and 3 being lent out to a friend. So that's why they're not on my shelf. But it's a really good comedy and a little bit of romance so far. And then we have Seraph of the End 1 through 7. I've heard really good things about it, and I'm really excited for it. Moving down, we have Haikyuu 1 through 10. Haven't started it, but I know a goated series when I see one, and the amount of fandom power that this series has by itself is enough to sway me to picking up 1 through 10. So kind of excited to binge that once I get done with my other sports that I'm going through. As you can tell, Prince of Tennis is quite long. Not quite as long as Haikyuu, but it got here first, so that's kind of what we're going through. Prince of Tennis is pretty close to Haikyuu in my opinion in terms of like the hype that it gives you with each mock battle that they do when they go and actually do tournaments. The drama in Prince of Tennis is really, really good. I enjoy all the characters, what they bring to the table, and I just think it's a really refreshing kind of sports that a lot of people overlook. So now we're at Yaomushi Pedal. Now this is a goated series for me. If you like Haikyuu and you like Prince of Tennis, or you just in general like overall sports, the art from Yaomushi Pedal is almost unmatched in just terms of raw energy. It's just such a good sports anime and manga. I think it's like at volume 60 something in Japanese. It's way farther. These are 2-in-1s, but I think we only go to 18 right now. I don't think it goes that far. So we've got a lot to catch up on. But overall, this series to me is just probably my favorite shonen manga for sports in general. Then coming all the way down at the bottom, then we have Samurai. We'll start from this side. We have Samurai 8, 1 and 2. This kind of broke my heart when I figured out that it had ended when I bought 1 and 2. So I kind of don't want to complete it, because if I leave it at 1 and 2, I always have more volumes to collect. So to me, it's just kind of, I don't know. It's sad. I really enjoyed it. I read it on the Shonen Jump app. I really liked it. I thought it was super unique for Kishimoto to kind of step out of the Naruto and Boruto line and kind of stretch his feet and just kind of hit the ground running. And I know in the beginning he said he was looking at like 10 volumes, I think, at a minimum, and he barely even got to half. So I don't know. It's creative differences aside, I think it was pretty solid, so I'm kind of sad to see it end so well. so soon, I guess. And then we have D. Gray Man 1 through 20, but I'm missing a couple in the beginning, which I have in omnibus form on my girlfriend's shelf, but it's a solid good read. If you don't know what D. Gray Man is, it has a really good kind of dark shonen. If you like Soul Eater and that kind of dark tone, it's a moderately darker tone for standard shonen. Then we have Platinum End. Haven't really read it. Some people say they hate it. Some people say they love it. I picked up some used copies at a bookstore, so I might try and get that soon. Zombie Powder. I only have this one because it's actually really good from Taitakupo, but I love Bleach, so I had to kind of get his earlier work. Same thing with Obata. I love them with Bakuman and a few other ones like Death Note. I love them, so I picked Ralgrad 1 through 3. I know there's a 4th novel out that I haven't gotten, but I don't think it's that good. I just kind of wanted to have it on my shelf. Takeru, Opera, Susano, Sword of the Devil. Kind of cringy name, but a super good 1 through 4. It feels a lot longer when you read it, and it's a really good overall story that's pretty dark, to be honest. But I really enjoyed it. If you like really good shonen with kind of moderately short stories, that's a really good one to read. It's always on sale. So then we have Food Wars 1 through 3. It's ecchi god. I mean, just that's all I have to say. Then we have one of the GOATs, Yu Yu Hakusho. If you haven't seen it or read it at all during your childhood, what the hell is wrong with you? It's just super overall good. Some of the best shonen battle arc tournaments ever. Just super good villains, super good powers, super lovable characters. It's great. Moving up here to kind of the romancy shelf, this one right here. So we'll start with Bride Story. I've recommended this more than I can count to all the other YouTubers that are out there starting their collections, and it's just... Let me see if I can show you. Let me move Nagisa aside. Stay. Let me see. This right here is an old man, and he's chiseling a pillar that's super ornate, and a little kid is watching him through it, and she has tons of spreads like these, full of detail. And she doesn't use much screen tone to do details. A lot of it's like brushstroke and like pen scribble. So it's a super refreshing read there. And overall, all the characters she writes are just absolutely flawless. I love them. I love them all. Next we have Witch's Printing Office. Haven't read this yet. I've heard good things about it from Kate Tins Does Manga and a few other ones like that. So I'm excited to read it, but I haven't picked up more than this. Sign of Affection. Oh my god. This is one of the cutest shojos coming out right now that I think is completely slept on. I've seen a little bit of more people talk about it, but not enough to be happy. Volume 3 is about to come out in like a day or two on the 10th. But if you like really sweet, like adult shojos, that's a really good one to pick. Ultikoi, you guys know all about it. It's broke the internet multiple times, so I don't really have to say much about it other than if you're a nerd or an otaku and you have trouble finding love, this one hits a little too close to home. Rent a Girlfriend, also just a nice, saucy, cute kind of shoujo, more just like slice of lifey. But I overall enjoy it. I know a lot of people don't. It's not for everyone, but... And the main character is kind of a ugh, but, you know, you learn to love him after a while. Beauty and the Feast, also a very kind of late bloomer for us. This has been out for quite some time in Japan. I used to simulcast read it when it was coming out over there. Super cute, age gappy, but not too cringy age gappy. Just an older woman and this guy who's in high school, who's on the baseball team meet, and she doesn't really know what to do with her life. So she ends up feeding him food, and he comes back, and it's just kind of a cute little, almost like an after beer kind of conversation that they have. And they just kind of talk out their best kind of feelings, and it's a really cute pick-me-up, and it's really cute to watch. So, and it's coming out very slowly. I believe 2 just got announced after like 6 months of being on 1. So it's very slow. Then we have After the Rain, I 1 through 4. I'm missing 5. This is a really somber kind of romance that never truly ends up in romance. It's romance to the point where coming of age romance, so go into that knowing that nothing super spicy comes out of this. It's more of us about finding yourself and knowing what you're worth and kind of growing up with these feelings bottled up where you may have liked someone, but you know it won't work and you know it shouldn't work, so you better yourselves through the whole ordeal. That's a really good one. And then Arako Under the Bridge is just straight up hilarious. Let me move you, little fox girl. This one's just a super cute one. I used to watch the anime a long time ago. Just realized they had a manga out. So basically it's a bunch of rejects who live under a bridge and they're all mentally f***ed up. And it's kind of cute because they're all stupid together and they all do really stupid things in really stupid scenarios. And it's just overall really funny. Next up, we have Takane no Hana. Now you'll notice that I have this weird down and then to the side. So over there near the couch, I have 3 volumes pulled out because I'm reading this right now. So as you can see, it goes 3, 4, and then I'm missing 5, 6, and 7 because I'm on 5 right now. So I have them over there in my reading chair. But I have all the way up to 15. Kimi ni Toroke, which is goated. If you don't know this as a romance, I don't know what to tell you, really. It's like the best cute shojo ever. So, and it goes to 30 volumes. I'm just really lazy. I've read it before. I've watched the anime like 18 times. So I kind of have up to 14 and I'm kind of taking a break collecting it. But we'll see. Yona of the Dawn also has a great anime. I'm really slow on getting this one and I kind of don't know why. I'm just kind of lazy and it's always sold out whenever I go and look for it. So I don't know. I may try and be a little bit more proactive with these two, but we'll see. Then we have, God, I butcher this one so much. It's like Aishituruze Baby. So this is a really cute kind of babysitting romance between a high school boy and a high school girl. And they basically take care of, I believe, if I remember correctly, it's been many years since I've read this. Let me see. His cousin. Okay. So they take care of his cousin. And the scenarios and stuff that they get into are some of the cutest things ever. The anime is an absolute gem. And it's really old, so it's got that classic art styles to it. It's just overall super enjoyable. It's only 7 volumes too, and they're kind of thick. But they're pretty easy to find. No one really cares about this series, which is weird. But yeah, if you're looking for a really cute, kind of short shoujo, this is a really good recommendation. Then we have My Monster Secret 1 to 15. It's a pretty, I don't want to say mediocre, because I love it. Like, right, it's my dirty little secret with shoujo. Not a lot of people know about it, but I generally enjoy it. A lot of people hate it. But if you love the kind of quirky side of Rosario Vampire, that like first kind of season in the anime and manga, where it's kind of overall just a bunch of different not yokai, but different kind of monsters and stuff coming together for a cute little harem that's really specifically 2 characters that never really is a harem. This is a really cute one to read. It's basically between her and the main guy the whole way through, and they start dating much earlier. Probably I think around like 6 or 7 they start dating. So it's not like you kind of have this disgusting pseudo harem of 50 girls and 1 guy to the very end. They have clear ties in the beginning of what's what, but it's overall a nice, cute, funny read. Then we have Witchcraft Works, a kind of slept on, underrated manga. The guy's kind of useless for the first like 2 or 3 volumes, and then he kind of starts wanting to get stronger, but it's basically a high school of magic users, and the guy ends up attracting the attention of basically the hottest girl in manga. Let me pull her out. Absolute gem, stoic waifu. Everyone loves her. And everyone in the school loves her. And so he's basically bullied because she gives all her attention and powers to him. And it's just an overall really cute, kind of almost little battle manga, but it's really shoujo-esque, so it's super cute. Very expensive though. Very expensive. I haven't continued grabbing it because, let me move that aside and show you the cost of it. First of all, they're very small, right? So they're like, they arguably should be worth like $9. No, they're $13. So I have a hard time shelling out that money for a volume that small, and they're not thick either. So that's my hot take for it. Then we have Mysterious Girlfriend. I'm missing the other omnibuses, but I have 1, 2, and 3. I've read 1, super kind of weird, coming of age, but I vibe with weird. We vibe with weird here, so I like it. Miss Beelzebub likes, super cute 4 comma shoujo, absolutely god tier, love it, slept on, read it. Then we have, of course, everyone's seen these everywhere, Fushigi Yugi, the 1 through 6 of the Viz Bigs, and you know what? Haven't touched it. So no comment on that. I know it's good. I know it's cute. The art's incredible, but I have zero drive to read this series. So hopefully sometime soon that'll change. Then moving on to kind of my reject shelf. It doesn't really fit anywhere up there. I'm sitting on the floor now. But we have My Sanikaku, which is great. I'll be honest with this series. It's a really good... I love everything of Takahashi. Everything she does. She's one of my favorite mangakas. But look, this is a very long-winded manga, right? So, Inuyasha is very long, but it's very exciting the whole way through, right? Every new time they get to a new arc, a new enemy appears, a new challenge. It's always interesting to see how they prevail. My Sanikaku's not that. People who get into it, the first 3 volumes are the funniest thing you will read in a very long time. Past that, it's not. So my quirk with this one is that it's a very slow burner. And I mean slow burner as in if you fell asleep and your body kept reading volumes 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and some of 14, and then you woke up at the end of 14 and then read 15, you'd think it was great, and you wouldn't have missed anything. So I kind of can't recommend this for people who like romance because it goes absolutely nowhere for almost 10 volumes, but you know, it's funny while it's there, but to me it's not worth recommending to people because some people think that My Sanikaku is so good based on these volumes that are out right now in the omnibuses. I prefer the singles, personally, but even I can't force myself to pick up the rest of the series in English just because, or in the singles, I should say, because I know that it's just almost like filler content between the main guy liking her and confessing to her, and then even when they're like finding each other out on a trip where they both know they love each other, it's constant blocking of each other. They never meet until like a volume later where they're at the end of the trip, and it like then it ends in stupid. Like it's good, but it's really not that good for a romance. It's a really good slice of life, but I would really recommend you skipping like half of it to find a good read in there, personally. And I love everything she does. I love Ranma, I love Inuyasha, I love Mao that's coming out right now. I will simulcast reading that for a while. I have Renee over there, 1 through 40 almost. I'm missing the last 5 because they just came out in English, but I read them in Japanese already. So then we have Inspector and Love of Kill. I view these kind of the same because they're so close to me in my heart because I read them at the exact same time. So Inspector is super good. I believe I've done a video on this with my reads. I'll try to link it up above on the top right. If I don't, I will try and get to it after this video is out. Love of Kill is the same thing. It's a very... I saw that. It's a very dark, kind of weird psychological romance between these two. Basically, he's a murderer and so is she. And they basically give each other, or he mostly is a really aggressive killer and gives her a bunch of hitman tasks that she's targeted for, and she gets the credit for them, and he is kind of like yondir to her right now. I haven't read the other 2 volumes that are out. I believe 3 comes out on August 10th, so I'm gonna pick 2 of those up. They're at my local store. I'll pick those up and probably do a video talking about this later on, but so far it's really interesting, and they have an anime confirmed, and I believe it has a trailer out, so if you're interested in that, go ahead and watch that trailer. Then we have Kagetora. Haven't finished it. I picked this up at a local bookstore for really, really cheap. It just looks like a kind of cute, romancy shonen. I don't remember what publisher that is. I forget. I mean, I guess it's Del Rey. I don't know if it's Del Rey and something else, but we'll just have to see. Then we have Kuma Miko. I kind of got that on like a Viz sale like a year ago, and I haven't touched it. So if that says anything about it, I mean, it's cute and it has a girl and a bear. It looks cute, but like that's kind of it. I don't really know. We'll see. I might read it sometime soon and binge it, and if I like it, I'll keep it and continue it. If not, straight to eBay with you. Then we have Servant Next Service, a super cute. You can find these super cheap on Amazon. They're not, you'll never have to pay $20 for them. But it's a 4-comma, super cute romance 4-comma. I enjoy it a lot. And there's only 2 volumes, 2 omnibuses, because they were really thin volumes in Japan. So you can find 1 and 2 for relatively cheap. And I'd recommend it because it's really cute to read. And it's quite a big volume. And then we have 1 Week Friends. If you like crying, it's dusty. I'm sorry. I literally dusted this whole room literally 3 days ago and it's already here, so I'm gonna live with it for now. It's a lot better when you have a full shelf and it doesn't have room to kind of cake in. But if you like crying, every week, which is basically every 20 pages in these books, go ahead and check this out. Basically, she can only remember a certain time in her life and forgets everything a week later. So he has to keep trying and trying to be her friend every week, and it is the most depressing thing ever. I haven't finished it, so I don't know if it ends in romance or anything like that, but I'm fine with them staying as friends just because it doesn't always have to end in romance. But his sheer power of will to get through that kind of mental beating is really something else. It's a really good, heartfelt, I think it's only 7 volumes, which I think is kind of cute because it only has, a week is 7 days, so 7 volumes, that would be kind of cute if I'm correct on that one. But it's just really depressing, but also really sweet, so I'd recommend it. So here is the Goddess shelf. I have another figure of her coming here, and I've pre-ordered a few others, but this is the Spice and Wolf shelf that I have with her little Nindroid and her 1/7 or 1/6 statue, I forget. So, and this is the collector's edition. I won't pull it out because it's super heavy, but it's 22 books in one giant book. Let me see if I can open it and show you the text size. Yeah, it's small. Light novels. But it's written like a Bible, like the super small little script font. Yeah, they had used that. So, haven't read it yet because it's a chore to kind of lug that book around. So, I might try and make a podium here eventually, just so I can have that dedicated to that, so I can read it whenever I need to. Then moving on, we have my light novel shelf. I haven't read almost all of these, so I started reading How a Realist Hero Rebuilt a Kingdom. I'm reading that one right now, and I'm reading Unnamed Memory. Both of them are incredible so far. So I'm like halfway through each. So I picked up the rest of these because there's a seller on eBay that had them for dirt cheap. I believe they're each $15, but I got all of them for like $30. Same thing with this series, Are Fureta. And then we have, this is my girlfriend's series, The Alchemist Who Survived. I really want to read this one. It goes to 4 or 6, I believe, but they're really good. I've started reading this one a little bit to her, but we'll see if I continue it. Then we just have this series, Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon? It's super good. The light novel leads better than the anime because it gets a lot more serious to me, and it's also a lot farther on. I think they're like at 19 or something like that, but the anime is still incredible. I love it. That just says how good the light novel is. As Your Skill, this one has just started coming out, haven't read it. Rising the Shield Hero, also haven't read it, heard really good things about it, but we'll have to see. And these two were small eBay finds, so I'm not too sure if Penguin Drum and Didn't I Say to Make My Abilities Average in the Next Life, if they're good or not. We'll find out. And this one's an extra, which I'll have to sell, because apparently I got 2 of these, and they don't want the other one back. So, I'll have to figure out what to do with that one. Moving on to the last shelf, which is my Seinen. This is also light novel as well, Trapped in a Dating Sim. Super cute. Haven't read it yet. Super excited to, but it won't fit up here, so it stays down here for now. We have Golden Kamui, as people say, but it's Golden Kamui. I've also seen people pronounce it Golden Camry, so, you know, shout out to Toyota. Then we have Happiness 1 through 3. I got this on a recommendation from a few other manga YouTubers, so I gave it a shot and I got addicted to it and bought 1 through 3 in a weekend through Amazon and binged them, so I will binge more of them as I get the time to kind of buy them. Solo Leveling, also incredible, just a great manhwa to comic form. It's very rare when they do it correctly, especially in full color. And this volume is heavy. Like, you can hear it. Like, it is a heavy book. And yeah, it's full color, so that's always good. Witch and the Beast, I don't want to say too much about it, other than it's my favorite series that I'm reading right now out of my whole 2 shelves. And I mean that not as a joke. It is the single-handedly greatest series that I'm reading right now, and I'm going to do a single follow-along video with this thing as it gets a little bit further. I'm going to be writing that video here soon. Then we have Monster, speaks for itself. Absolutely amazing thriller mystery. If you haven't read it, please, please, please check it out. And the anime I would recommend as well. It's a beautiful adaptation. And then we have Vagabond 1, just because I am very interested in it, and these spines are good. So, excited to start that as well. Hi! Are you a dog break, huh? Are you a break from the video? You a break from the video? In front of Kaisen characters, huh? Yeah, you are. Shout out to my girls. So then we have Inuyasha. I have only 3 Fizbigs, even though I've read this whole series before. I'm going to be buying the Japanese collector's edition that they did. It's all white with gold foil. Oh, it looks so good. So I'll be getting that one, but I have all of their exhibition plushies. That cost me too much money. Was it stupid? Probably. Did I do it? Yeah. Yes, I did. Then we have Sashomaru's Nendroid. I have the other 3 on pre-order, and they won't ship them to me yet. I don't know why, but I'll update that as I get them. Then we have the Cult Hated On, because the mangaka did something absolutely disgusting and stupid, but it's still a great series. So, and I got this used, technically used, but it's basically brand new. The Japanese little Bunko editions, which are the little omnibuses, but they're really cute, of Kenshin, if you couldn't tell by the little bear with the cross-shaped scar. I love this series, and I'll never hate it. That's just my firm belief. I can separate artist from work very easily, and this series shaped my childhood for the better, so I'm never going to just throw it out because of something like that. And it kind of hurts when people don't give it a chance. You know, nobody's perfect, and this is an argument for a different video about Japanese society and culture, but it's understood why it happens, but it doesn't excuse it. But at the same time, you shouldn't sleep on one of the best shonen works in history. I think you should at least try and give it a shot, and if you still don't like it after like a volume, then you're justified. But I would definitely recommend Kenshin 100%. Then moving on, this is basically my Japanese shelf. You'll find out because the rest of this is Japanese sub the bottom. But we have 1 Ounce, which is a really good Japanese sports manga. Basically, the main character has made a bet with the leader of his team to let him play, that if he ever misses and strikes out, he owes a crap load of money each time. And there's a lot of tactics and like underhanded things that go through this series, and it's a really good series to read, and you can find stuff online of this series all over the place. Same thing with Crows. It's a really good delinquent manga. I love a good delinquent manga that handles things realistically. I'm not a big fan of stuff that's just kind of, oh, it's delinquent-y, but they just are really, really happy and heartfelt. I like the grittiness of what like underground gangs do in schools like that. So Crows is really good, and it has a direct sequel with the same high school called Worst. I haven't picked that up yet, but I'm very keen on it. Then we have the Japanese edition of Orange, just because I like the spines better. And it's a really good Japanese print edition as well. Same thing with Dreaming Sun over there, 1 and 2. Then these are, I have bigger versions of this, but they're Drifting Classrooms, little baby bunkos as well. I want to put all of them side by side, because you'll see they make like a really crazy painting together. So I want to put them all in a shadow box, but that's a project for another day. Then let me get down here. So then we have more Japanese. So we have Chihayafuru on the bottom, 1 through 41. And then we have, which is a really just overall good board game shojo. Super cute cast of characters, really good anime. Then we have The World God Only Knows. Also, I picked this up based on the anime. It was like a super cheap Macari sale, so I went ahead and picked it up because we don't have it in English. So, you know, why not? It's a really good series. It's one of my favorites. especially the anime. Oh my god, it's so cute. Then moving on from that shelf to this one, we have, I got 5 on the top, as much as it will trigger some of you. And 2 is not that bad of a different color. Let me wipe some of this off. I have a dog and their hair just gets absolutely everywhere. But 2 is not that bad. These editions kind of have slight discoloration a little bit, but not too much. 2 is a lot less bright in person. But 5 I just got in the mail, so it was on sale for 26 bucks, so I went ahead and bought that. Then we have Berserk 1 and 2. I don't have to say anything about Berserk. If you don't know about this series, it's probably too dark for you anyway. Then we have Blame, or as they say, Blame. So we have Master Editions 1, 2, and 3. It goes to 6. I need to pick that up. And then we have Knights of Sidonia. It goes to 7. These are really, really good sci-fi, super dark stories with some of the greatest covers and art. I'm not going to open them because they're incredibly heavy, but these are some of the best manga editions that has been printed in a long time. Check them both out. They're both really good sci-fi apocalyptic kind of things, and they're really good. If you don't know Nihei, he's a really good artist to get comfortable with because Abara and a few other works are incredible. So if you like really dark, gritty sci-fi, he's a really good author to keep on your radar. We're going to be changing up the pace and going kind of shelf left to right versus down. So we'll start with this shelf, which is One Piece. I mean, again, I have a lot that I don't have to speak on, just because if you don't know One Piece, you're living under a rock. It is literally, I believe, the longest running shonen right now. That's considered like one of the fathers of at least modern shonen. Somehow this man single-handedly makes stories that never really bore you, and they go super long. So if you don't know Oda, he's an absolute speed demon, not to be reckoned with. Then we have, continuing on, all the way to 78 of One Piece. Haven't continued out to Wano yet. So, and I haven't finished the New World arc either. Then we have I'm yawning. Whew. Then we have My Hero Academia Vigilantes. I like this more than the main series. I just really don't like Deku at all. I don't know. He's a little too goody two-shoes for me. I'm up to current on the manga right now. I still read it. I just don't want it. And I think that comes from me growing up with older shonen like Yu Yu Hakusho, Bleach, and things that have done what he's doing right now. What Horikoshi's doing. I understand what he's trying to do. I just really don't vibe with My Hero as much as everyone else does, but the anime's great. Bones does a good job, at least with season 1 and 2. The rest kind of look but season 1 and 2 are amazing. So, but I know a lot of people love My Hero, and for good reason. It is a really good shonen. It's just not my cup of tea anymore. I think I've just seen too many older shows that I love closer to my heart do it better. But Vigilantes is a really refreshing take on the My Hero universe and just superheroes in general. I really love the main cast, especially Knuckle Duster. Oh my god, I love him. But it's a really good read, and especially if you like the original cast. They do a lot of debuting here and growing up with this, so if you really like the teachers, this is a really good one to pick up. Moving on, we have Promised Neverland 1 through 14. Now, some of you may kill me. Haven't read it yet. This was a recommendation from my girlfriend, and I found a bunch of it for sale, so I picked it up super cheap. But hopefully I get around to reading that soon. I know the anime, I believe season 1 was great. Like, people loved it, and then season 2 was absolute gutter trash. So, we're sticking with this bad boy. Then we have Bakuman. Oh my god, this is one of the best series to get into if you like drawing or like manga, and you like what goes on to make a manga. This is one of the nicest behind the scenes you'll ever get, with also one of the cutest romance stories ever. This is it. Highly recommend this, highly recommend the anime, and I highly recommend the live action for this one. The live action, while it does cut out like that many volumes and keeps like 1, 2, 3 and like the very ending, it's a great adaptation nonetheless, and it does keep to the heart of Bakuman, and I think if you like this, you'll love the live action. Then we have some weird ones. So this series, I think I've mentioned before. Stay up there, I heard that. But this is the Sorcerer King of Destruction and the Golem of the Barbarian Queen. Basically, this guy isekais into a world where he's alone completely, and he finds this house and a bunch of magic tomes, and he basically understands how to do magic to a basic degree, and he makes this golem that's super cute. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see. This one. So he makes this golem, and it follows him around everywhere, and it's super affectionate to him, super kind of obsessive, and it kind of goes everywhere with him, and it's some of the cutest I've ever seen of little interactions, like the little claps that it does whenever he does something powerful. It will always do like a little cute clap and kind of be like super over the top with him. And it's just a super cute series, and eventually he accidentally makes the golem look like a baddie. So, and then they kind of start this little adventure. There's only 2 volumes in it. I don't think it's ever going to go farther. I believe it stopped at 2. But if you can find these on discount, just because they're 2, I can't recommend them, because the light novel goes way farther. I don't know why this series stopped at 2. It's so cute. I got so heartbroken. Like I audibly yelled when I finished 2. I looked it up and it said 2 completed. I wanted to scream twice as loud. Also, fun fact, the story is by someone named North Carolina. So that's weird, but it's a super good series nonetheless. Then we have the Dungeon of Black Company. This one's a little hit or miss for me. I really enjoyed it, but it's a little bit too over the top sometimes with its dialogue and its darker themes. It has an anime coming out that I believe episodes like 1 and 2 are out already. So go ahead and give that a watch. And if you like those 2, you'll like the rest of the series, really. I just really don't want to pay for them because they're really small. And I didn't like it that much. It was just good for when I read it. But I also got these for $3 each at Books A Million on discount, so, you know. Then we have Black Clover, absolutely goated shonen. If you slept on this, especially the anime, slap yourself and wake up and start watching it. Some of the best animation Pierre's ever done. Some of the best story writing for shonen anyone's ever done. Some of the best character arcs people have ever done. Just medieval shonen greatness. Boruto, I hate everyone who doesn't like this. You're lying to yourself, and it's great. That's all I'll say. Then we have, my baby. This is the Naruto Shippuden and original Bunko edition that they did for the Konbini sets for all the convenience stores in Japan. They ran these, which is why they have a little set number from what they are. I believe most of these match, and then some of these match together with different ones. But I did my best to get the best that I could, but overall the seller did me really well and got me it super cheap. So it's all Japanese, as you can see. But I love this edition. The spines, this is what we should have had for our English release. Sorry Not Sorry. So Viz, if you hear this, do this. I know the Germans have this too for their German edition omnibuses. Why don't we have this? Then moving down a shelf, we have Erased, which is one of the best ever mysterious psychological thrillers ever written. If you haven't read this, I don't want to say anything because the synopsis of this is a spoiler that it will catch you off guard if you've never read it. I went into the series super blind, and I'm very, very, very glad that I did, because even the beginning synopsis will break your mind. And if you read it beforehand, it won't feel as good. So I'd recommend just taking my word for it. It's got some crazy, crazy time travel. Other than that, that's all I'll leave it at. Drifting Classrooms is one of the nastiest and darkest horror mangas ever that I've ever read. So this, if you like Lord of the Flies and you like super creepy, like Junji Ito inspired stuff, this is what inspired Junji Ito. So this is one of the nicest horrors that actually has a pretty good resolution, and it's not just like a one-off kind of crazy story. It has an actual plot line, and that's refreshing, so I would recommend these. And they're also gorgeous hardbacks. Viz Signature did a great job. And then we have Full Metal. I don't really have to say anything about Full Metal. It's literally the top rated anime on my anime list, so if you don't know Full Metal, educate yourself. Then moving on, we have a kind of like a kink shelf. And I say that because it's just To Your Eternity, really, and Drifting Dragons. Super cute, food, medieval, kind of slice of lifey. Not really important for most people, but I liked it, and it flies under the radar of most people. To Your Eternity, literally goated by the same person who did A Silent Voice. If you really like depressing and crying every freaking volume, this is the one for you. It will break you, build you back up, break you again, build you back up, slap you, and then break you again. And then it ends up building you back up, and then right here it breaks you again. So it's a roller coaster of emotions. Witch Hat Atelier, haven't read it yet. I've heard it's basically an art book with wheels because its story is kind of but its art is incredible. Grand Blue, I did a little bit on this in another video. Basically, it's really good so far, but it puts things way too fast. It's a generic fantasy, but it moves a little bit too fast for my liking. So, I kind of can't recommend it because it's not really fun to read. It's just character exposition for 3 volumes, and it's just kind of Then we have some really, really, really old, some 2003s Japanese. It's like really old magazines for learning Japanese, basically. And they're really good because they're basically baby language. So it's good if you want to learn. That's a really good magazine to start with. And then we have, I'll go fast on these shelves because we're at the very end. Let's see. We have D and Angel, 1 through 13. Not a good series, really, overall, but it has one of the best anime openings of all time, and I enjoyed it because it's close to my heart, and I was simulcasting it when I was a little boy. Twin Star, absolutely goated shonen. Demons, Onis, a bunch of screwed up fights. Really heartbreaking and twisted characters that I just love to death, and the whole cast is amazing. Magi, an amazing anime. Haven't read the manga. I don't know if it's too different at all, but I really enjoyed the Tale of Aladdin kind of spin-off for this in the anime. I love it. I love the main characters. Zero's Familiar, same thing. Not too crazy good, but I just grew up with it, so it's a really cute romance. Parasite 1 and 2, absolutely goated as an anime, and the manga's super good. If you don't know Parasite, I'd recommend it. Basically, a bunch of parasites came down from space and landed on a bunch of people and took people over, and now they're basically trying to consume the human race. Main character gets Migi, one of them stuck in his hand, and it can't take his brain over, so it lives in his hand forever. And they basically have this weird symbiotic relationship where they both rely on each other to survive, and Migi ends up having a consciousness after a while paired with the main character, and it's a really cool morality story. Renee, if you haven't read any of Takahashi's, it's basically the same each time, just more and more creative. So I enjoyed this a lot. It's kind of like a much more simpler Inuyasha. So if you like Inuyasha and things like that, give that a chance. Then we have Yu-Gi-Oh! And Arslan. Then we have One Punch Man 1 through 20. If you don't know One Punch Man, I'll hit you in one punch. Basically, it's a super good comical superhero. Really good overall. I believe the ending volume's over here. I say ending like it's done. It's not. I believe right here is where like a really nice overarching story happens. I stopped reading around here to let it catch up. Then we have Claymore, one of the darkest. It's basically Dark Souls and Berserk, but with some baddies instead. So that's your TLDR. Then we have Seven Deadly Sins, which is just a really good overall fun shonen to read. Then we have Captain Harlock, which is just a really old classic manga that I picked up for super cheap. Vinland Saga, JoJo's Planets, or Planetess, RG Veta from Clamp, Message to Adolf. Then we have Witchbuster, a really weird shonen that I picked up that's missing one volume in the middle right here because it's over $100 to find. Death Note Black Editions, All You Need Is Kill, Dogs, and My the Psychic Girl, which is just a really, really old, not shonen, but a really old manga from like the 80s, I believe. So I enjoy it a lot.